Until recently, musicians have known Clara Schumann primarily as Robert Schumann's wife and a close friend of Johannes Brahms. She was one of the most renowned pianists of her day, having a career that lasted well over 60 years, beginning as a child prodigy. Her father was abusive and exploited her talents. Even so, the greatest musical minds in Europe, including Liszt, Chopin, and Mendelssohn, considered her a brilliant musician without equal. Robert considered her much more talented than he, and she played and popularized most of his piano music. Without her, he may have remained an amateur composer and be lost to history forever. In addition to her role as one of Europe's most in-demand pianists, she was also a fine, yet reluctant, composer. Writing chamber music, mini lieder, smaller works for piano, and a piano concerto, completed at the age of 14. Unfortunately for us, she stopped composing after the death of her husband, therefore her posthumous fame being largely based on her skill and influence as a pianist, not her compositions. The Nocturne you will hear tonight is from her Opus 6 for piano. She wrote it at age 13, but it quickly became immensely popular. Robert often stated it to be his favorite piece, even before they were married, while Chopin bought several copies for himself and praised it endlessly. The arrangement you hear tonight is a new orchestration for solo viola and orchestra by Dr. Martin Blessinger, TCU Professor of Theory and Composition. In his words, the impetus for this creative project was the influence of two women whom I take as inspiration. The first, naturally, is Clara Schumann, whose bicentennial was celebrated last year. The second is Wendy Doherty, my longtime stand partner in the viola section of the Fort Worth Civic Orchestra. This nocturne is in ternary form. The A section begins with a lilting accompanimental pattern in the strings, before the main melody is introduced on the viola. The B section modulates to the relative minor and is more intense, with thicker textures, an upward rising melody, and more vibrant orchestration. After a dialogue between the viola, wind, and strings, the horns enter on a pianissimo chord, signaling the return of the A section. In contrast to the opening, the winds are more active, at times doubling the soloist, and the melodic line is more virtuosic. The piece culminates in a poignant diminuendo, with the viola and orchestra fading out in unison. Our viola soloist tonight is Dr. Misha Galaganov, whose solo performances have taken him to 4 continents. He is a great supporter of new music, having commissioned and premiered numerous new works for viola from American composers and others as far afield as Israel, Russia, and Peru. Dr. Galaganov is also an avid chamber musician, directing the Chamber Music Roundup, Student Chamber Music at Oklahoma Summer Arts Institute, Chamber Music at Steinway Hall, and the New Music Ensemble at TCU, among others, as well as being principal violist of the Dallas Chamber Symphony and TCU Professor of Viola.